Because if you were raped and impregnated when you were raped, you should have thought about getting rid of the child well before the third trimester. I'm against any kind of abortion for any reason other than the health of the mother after beginning in the second trimester when there's brain and heart activity. When the brain starts to function, it's a human life. I'm giving people the benefit of the doubt that, it's a mass of tissue. I'm compromising. So it's a human life. And I understand their position. Well, you know what? You may have been raped, but it's not the child's fault. This is true. But I'm not taking that hard line of a position. But we've got to do better at protecting the unborn than we have been doing. And it's clear. Because now we've, we're heading into a negative population growth as far as birth is concerned. And the only reason our population keeps growing is because we have immigrants. Now, with that said, the black population is on a negative population growth. African Americans now abort more babies than they have. African Americans have babies out of wedlock at a rate of 70%. This is thanks to liberal policies, by the way. Liberal government, thank you very much. You've totally devastated and destroyed the black community. And yet blacks are still running around saying, yeah, they're the best people ever. Well, you know what? I think I'm going to agree with Jenny Garofalo. Remember when she talked about Stockholm Syndrome? And she said that blacks who were conservatives had Stockholm Syndrome. I think it's the other way around. Think about it. Look at all the death and destruction that has been left in the wake of liberal policies, the welfare state. I believe the Stockholm Syndrome is on blacks, African Americans, who continue to support a bunch of white people in power who really don't like them. And I see it all. That explains it. That explains a lot. Think about it for a second, folks. I mean, we know for an absolute fact that people in the KKK and skinheads populate the Democratic Party a lot more than they do the Republican Party. We also know that when an unknown, a bigoted idiot tries to run for Republican office, David Duke, the Republicans turn their back on him and shun him. But Democrats, they praise them, make excuses for them, Robert Byrd, and help them get reelected. And then they point the finger over at the Republic. Y'all racist. And blacks go, yeah, they are. We see it. Yeah. Democrats aren't our master. No, they're not racist. No, they love us. They love us so much. Yeah. Yeah, I can see the Stockholm Syndrome being on Democratic blacks, not Republican blacks. I definitely see it now. Jenny Garofalo just had the wrong group, but she was right. There was a group that had Stockholm Syndrome, but it wasn't on the Republican side. The birth rate in the United States hit an all-time low in 2011, according to a report released earlier in October this month by the Federal Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. And the 2011 preliminary numbers of U.S. births was 3,953,593. 1% less, or 45,800 fewer births than in 2010. The general fertility rate of 63.3 per 1,000 women aged 15 to 44 years declined to the lowest rate ever reported for the United States, said the report. More than 40% of all babies born in this country last year were born to unmarried women, while the overall birth rate declined to a record low. The birth rates for women in the 35 to 39 and 40 to 44 age groups actually increased from 2010 to 2011. Yet more cougars are trying to have babies because they're listening. Because they put off having kids for so long because they wanted to have that career. And then they hear their biological alarm, about to go off, clock ticking, and so they decide late in their life to have kids. Haley Berry, a number of actresses of stage and screen and TV are having kids in their late 30s, early 40s, and it's just a trend that's been happening. Now, among all, Mariah Carey, how old? Mariah was 40 when she had their twins, 40, 41. Haley Berry, she was same age, 41, 42-ish. So it goes. Among all women in the United States, including those as young as 10 and as old as 54, the birth rate declined from 64.1 per 100,000 in 2010 to 63.2 per 100,000. They're including girls as young as... Who impregnates a 10-year-old? I can't imagine this. You're a kid. You're 17 years old in high school, and you could probably take your mom as your date to the prom because she wouldn't even be 30 yet. That's not supposed to happen. Among women 10 to 14 years old, it held steady at 0.4 per 100,000. And I can't believe they even have a category 10 to 14. That's wow. The number of unmarried women delivering babies actually declined slightly from 40.8% in 2010 to 40.7% in 2011. But we're still heading to a population a negative birth rate in this country. The way things are going. Hey, a lot of people are saying they don't want to bring kids into this world for whatever reason. People are holding off having kids. They're not having as many. There are a lot of voluntarily one-child households in this country. With China, it's mandated. Here, people are doing it voluntarily. Because this country used to the average birth per household at one point was like 4 or 5 kids, and then then the nuclear family came along, and it was 2.3 children, basically 2 kids, and now it's less than 2. I don't know how you get less than 2 with more than 1, but I guess the woman is permanently 3 months pregnant or something. But there are a lot of one-child households. And it has a lot to do with economics, believe it or not. Now, kids are expensive. Children are not cheap. Even when you try to do it on the cheap, even when you try to foist it off on the government and get your kid enrolled in the breakfast program at school and the lunch program at school, and in some states, the dinner or snack program at school, after school snack or dinner program at school. Even when you can pawn off, at least 2/3 of the meal time to somebody else, kids are still expensive. Really, I think they're worth every penny, but they're still expensive. So, people can't afford to have 3, 4, 5 kids anymore. And not live a kind of a lifestyle that they would even possibly dream of. I mean, there are people that do it, and they're not rich by any stretch of the imagination, but they still do it. I have plenty of friends that have 5 kids. I think they're crazy. Excuse me. I know people that young people in their 20s, they're on their 3rd child. I think they're crazy. You know, when you have 2 kids and you have 2 kids and 2 parents, let me give you a little secret. When you have 2 children and 2 parents, the children outnumber the parents. They do. So it's kind of, because, each child is like 2 people. Because you know how kids can play off one parent on the other. It's like having 2 people. So 2 kids is actually like having 4 people, 4 non-adults in the household with two adults. It's really like that. I mean, it can be fun and it can be funny, but parents, there are parents out there listening that know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, you're outnumbered. And besides, most of the time, it's only one parent interacting at a time, interacting with both kids. Because it could be that one parent is home most of the time, or doing most of the driving around to soccer and basketball and football practice and all that kind of stuff. It's always 2-on-1. So parents are always out, and then they go ahead and they want a 3rd and a 4th. They're crazy. I mean, they're already outnumbered when they have 2, but it's child reinforcement when you get to 3 and 4. But don't you dare get an abortion. I am not advocating that at all. I'm having a little fun because parents know what I'm talking about, being a little facetious about children. But children are a ball. They're a blessing. They're a gift. And no matter how hard it is to afford them, there is absolutely nothing in the world that is better. I mean, this is crazy the way we're going. Absolutely insane. This is not how a civilized society, because liberals want to always talk about, well, this is 2012 and we're civilized. This is not how a civilized society operates. Abortion on demand is barbaric. Plain and simple. It is no better than the mythologicalized Spartans. And by the way, the Spartans did throw away babies that were not perceived to be perfect. It's the same as an abortion. You're throwing away a human life. It's barbaric. It's just plain evil. Oh, what else to tell you? Kids they're a beautiful gift, folks. And I don't care if you believe in God or not, but the nation that reveres their children, not coddles their children, reveres their children, is a nation that is strong and builds a lasting future. You heard?
This is not a message of happiness or reassurance. It is a crisis of confidence. The productivity of American workers is naturally dropping.
We aren't out there hungry, selling America. We've been a little bit lazy, I think, over the last couple of decades.
The symptoms of this crisis of the American spirit are all around us.
We've lost our ambition, our imagination.
Owning things and consuming things.
You go to a bank and you use an ATM. You don't go to a bank teller.
All the legislation in the world can't fix what's wrong with America.
The country that had gotten a little soft.
These changes did not happen overnight.
Change cannot happen overnight. What can we do?